Welcome to another episode of the Side Eye. I was gonna say Sinners. Welcome to another episode of the Side Eye. I'm Uptown Bobby,
And I'm K.Clark.
and yeah, I gave it away, but this episode is about the most talked about movie of the decade. This is the movie of the decade, right? I think we can say that.
Okay, we got
This
about
is
five
the
years left, but all right.
right for the first half of the 20s. I would say this might be the defining film because it's just you can't escape the talk of it.
Yeah, I'd
So
say
this,
that.
yeah, so this is a Sinners episode. We're going to talk about the movie. I don't want to say deep dive because I mean it's not the movie.
Well,
Still, what'd you say?
for me, my part, I know you saw a little bit before me, but I preface it by, as we're recording this, I literally saw this movie less than 8 hours ago. So
Right.
there are references I missed, things that I missed, subtext, deeper subtext, deep that subtext, just recognize that this is literally my initial impression and
Which is better.
yeah, Uptown's the first person I discussed this movie with because after I got home I had to actually be quiet for a second, just kind of take it all in. So there you go.
Right. And I think it's better that way because now you kind of get to have your own it's like your fresh takes, right? It's not like how sometimes you leave something or you listen to, you experience some type of art or whatever, and you might have an opinion come across you, and I don't want to say it changes your opinion, but you might, kind of lean into that
You catch on
before.
to everybody else's impressions. You start to think, okay, well,
Right.
was my impression wrong, or is this the correct one, or I missed that? So does it change the meaning of how I initially experienced this? So yeah.
Right. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, stop listening and go see the movie and come back because we're like this is spoilers heavy. We're gonna talk about like the whole movie, so we're not this isn't spoiler free at all. So just want to get that out the way. So you just left the movie theater. First impressions. Um, let's take it back a little bit. Well, before going to see the movie, before the movie released, before all the hoopla, did you see the trailer? And when you saw the trailer, what were your expectations for the movie?
I don't remember. I don't remember sitting down and actually seeing the trailer. Maybe I saw pieces here and there. I was aware that Michael B. Jordan was filming something down here. It's nearby in Louisiana, so I was aware of that something was going on. So I heard bits and pieces, but I wasn't really following it. And then until the rollout kind of started happening a little bit more, and then once the movie came out, it just kind of exploded when it would feel like a really organic sort of way. Because usually I'm really good just avoiding spoilers in general, but I really had to work hard to not see anything or hear anything about it that would spoil anything for me. Like I knew it was probably like a period piece of how people were dressed. And I think I knew it was like a horror. I think maybe I knew it was like a horror movie or something, something kind of dark. But I didn't. It was hard to avoid any spoilers about it before I saw it. So I managed to
Hmm.
for the most part. So
Right. For me, I'm sorry, I put a piece of candy in my mouth. Um, for me, I saw the trailer in a group chat I was in, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. It's a different element of Ryan Coogler. He's doing a horror movie, and then seeing Michael B. Jordan play twins, I thought was interesting because depending who you talk to, you kind of have an idea of Michael B. Jordan's range as an actor, or you have an opinion. And
mm,
some people think he's modest, some people think he's okay, and some people think he's awful. I never hear anybody say they think he's great, right? So for me, I was interested in seeing how would he handle this role because a lot of the movies he's been doing, like I'll say, like the last 7 years, has been very dependent on his body. Like his body has been his calling card. Uh, he got in phenomenal shape for Creed. He got in more phenomenal shape for Black Panther. He did a Splinter Cell type spy movie. Um, so his body has been like the calling card, right? So it's like, here's a movie to where he's not doing the crazy body transformation. It's more so his acting chops really put on display, especially playing two characters
Mhm.
in the same movie. So I was excited to see that and how he would do with that, and also see how Coogler would have this world where he's telling a story about vampires, twins, and which looked like a period piece. So I was excited about it.
Mhm.
So when it dropped, I was like, I'm gonna go see it first week just to support, quote unquote, like he really need my $10. But I was like, why not? Because throughout the talk of the movie, like what one of my friends shared with me, a lot of Hollywood insiders was like, the movie is gonna have to do really well because of the budget, which I'm going to go look up now.
It's like
I
90
think
million.
like 90 million, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So they were gonna say at least his opening week had to have at least 30 to like put it in the right trajectory to break even. And that's a lot. So and also the deal he has is very unique too, because if I'm not mistaken, he gets to keep a large percentage of the ownership
Well, it
of it.
goes back to him in 20 fully, it goes fully back to him in 25 years. So
Right. So that's huge. That's a very unique deal for a director, especially a black director,
mm.
from a large studio. So it was a lot of things attached to that movie as opening week. Some people already been, expecting it. So I was like, let me go see it first week, just so I could avoid spoilers too. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Did
I mean,
you enjoy it?
oh yeah, I enjoyed it. I texted you and said I enjoyed it. I thought it was great, but it was also a lot. uh, aside, I mean, you got the horror element, which is there. Obviously, it's the
Yeah,
vampire
it's a horror movie.
aspect. It's a horror movie. It's about these two twins. Smoke. One name is Smoke. One name is Stack, which I just thought just now. That's one reference. Smokestack, which could be a reference to Smokestack Latin, a song by Howlin' Wolf. Who've been a musician of that era, 30s, 40s, 50s. But two twins coming into town, say from Chicago, but they're coming back home, Mississippi. And it's the early 30s, and they want to start a juke joint. Um, and over the course of one very eventful night, they and their cousin, Sammy, who's like a preacher's kid who also has a love for the blues, come in contact with some horrific shit, which involves vampires, along with racism. And then over the course of that one evening, all their lives changed irreparably. That's the basic summary of it. But but within that, it's commentary, a bit of commentary about race. It's also about maybe the pull, sort of the way religion can sort of divide and repress, but also the way it can open you up, and it's like it's sort of a choose your own adventure in this weird way because we were talking about this before the show. All the characters ended up choosing their own path to an extent. Uh, Sammy's character, like I said, his dad's a preacher, um, and his path is like he has to choose between whether he wants to follow what his father says and put the guitar down and be a church musician, or I guess eventually a preacher slash church musician, and or he wants to go his own way. Which low key I thought his character was based on Robert Johnson just from his way he was built, his physicality. I don't know if that was a subconscious thing by them, um, and the fact that he played guitar in the blues. Um, but he has to make his own way and choose his own way, which I'm not. I'll get back to that in a second. But then also between the two twins, personality wise, they are different, which I think is where the performance was a good performance by Michael B. Jordan. Is that Stack is like more fly by the seat of his pants, a little more extroverted. Uh, Smoke is more serious, introverted, business minded. So that's the key difference between them. He's a bit more serious than Stack is. Um, But so yeah, you got the horror element, you got the commentary element, you got stuff about religion and music and how music has played a role in the black community over the decades. Like talk about one key scene that stood out to me was when everybody was dancing together. They took it out as being in 1932, and they cut to the shot of like I would say a Bootsy Collins-esque type of figure from the 70s playing like a funk rock solo. Then they went to like hip hop DJ scratching. Then they went to some people in the corner twerking and bounce music. It basically showing the ways that black music has evolved over the decades, nearly a century, over a century at this point, to the present day. And I thought it was really a key
I
scene. And,
I
and
hated
then and
that
then and then,
scene.
and then the fire. Oh, it did. Then the fire appears, and you see the vampires, like because which
I,
to me was like, oh, black folks building something, they come to racists to tear it down. So, but go ahead.
yeah, I didn't like this scene.
You know, like
I get it.
that.
Yeah, I get all this is how we was kings, and it started with us. I get it. But it just took me out the movie.
Okay.
It took me out. Like it felt like a commercial. You know how a lot of brands do those black commercials, like especially during like Black History Month, like or Black Music Month in June. It's like that's what it felt like. It felt like this is us. Black music matters. I was expecting a nigga to start drinking a Coke or something, or I was waiting on the branding part. I was like, oh, is this a Kia commercial or is it Coke or McDonald's? Like, which brand is it? So it took me out the movie. I know a lot of people enjoyed it and it was cool, but for me, it just was like, I don't know, man. It's a time period movie, so usually when you see period pieces, you're used to like staying in that period, unless it's like a timeline type movie where they go back, like modern day or
Yeah,
you know.
I guess I didn't mind as much because I mean we're already entertaining vampires, so we're already not necessarily locked into a. This is like this isn't Roots,
No, no,
you
no, no.
know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But it's a horror movie set in the 30s. So yeah, I get the sense of realism, but it just was just seeing niggas just pop up, pop locking and DJs and all that. Just for me, it kind of just took me out the movie. Like I was just ready for it to end because I'm like, okay, I get the point. And I even like the river dance scene more than that.
Oh yeah, the demonic river
Only,
dance.
yeah, only because it stayed. I guess it stayed true to the um scenery. I guess it was like just
Mm.
them breaking, just the character just singing the shit he liked to sing, and then all of them. They like Michael B. Jordan was having fun with that shit too.
Oh yeah.
So it was cool. I like that. I like this. But yeah, I get the symbolism of
Mm.
the music scene. It just didn't do it for me. It reminded me of like something from the Underground series that was on WGN. They would
Okay.
have scenes where they would play like modern music. But the show was set during like slavery, so it would
Mm.
be kind of weird. They'd be like, man, why are they playing the weekend in this scene with like slaves fighting for their freedom? But creative license and
But to me, it was like a good version of what they were doing. Was it an HBO show? I think it was called. Let me look at it. It was called Vinyl, which is about this record label like in the '70s, and everyone it was based. It's supposed to be like a gritty kind of period piece, but it was like they would have these cutaways where they would go to a song from that period, and they would have like someone who looks like the artist sing it, but do it in a way that was like very surreal. It's like they would they would have like a song fade up like by Janis Joplin or somebody, and they would have like a Janis Joplin-esque figure like wailing in the background. Which to me that felt kind of weird and kind of cheesy and distracting. But this felt I think the fact that it came out it was sort of unexpected and it didn't last too long for me made it work for me.
yeah. Uh, but yeah, that scene was one that people talk about a lot. One of my favorite scenes. I like the dialogue. I was a big fan of the dialogue, like the little parts, like when him and Smoke and well, no, it was Smoke. I think it was both brothers and Sammy in the car. And Sammy asked him about Chicago. He was like, "Oh, it's so
Mm.
exciting." He was like, "Man, ain't nothing but tall buildings and racism."
To the
It
cotton
was just
fields.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just like, bro, this shit ain't what you think it is. Now,
Mm,
granted, they might feel that way because the movie alludes to them probably doing some illegal shit to get the money to
mm,
buy the juke joint.
mm.
You never really know the full story of what happened in Chicago, but it's
Well,
kind of like,
what's her
what you say?
name? Think of her name. She's the biracial
Uh,
woman.
yeah, the mixed
Um,
lady.
yeah, she insinuates that basically they stole from the Italians and the Irish, so they would think it was one would think it was the other, and then
Right. And
they
then
ran out of
fled to
town while
Mississippi.
while they went to war. So yeah.
Right. So that's one theory that, but there's no real confirmation. It's just more so like, they have a past and, because like when they come back, everybody's like, oh Lord, here come these
Hmm.
niggas.
Hmm.
Uh, so it's like that. But I like that part because it talks about like the Great Migration, like people leaving the South to go to the North, to go to Chicago, New York, other places like that. And everyone, they're leaving for the promise of better jobs, less
Hmm.
racism. But unfortunately, once they go up north, they realize that, oh shit, you may have a few more rights, or you may have a little more freedom as far as like where you get to, venture out to, but you're still black. And,
Hmm.
it's still racism, just a
Hmm.
different type of wolf, you
It,
know.
it- yeah,
So that scene was
it's a little
really
bit like
pivotal.
it was a little bit like Devil in a blue dress in that way, you know, where like they instead of going to Chicago, they went to California, you know, as far as like going to be in a different environment, but still having to deal with racism, you know,
So
or even
yeah, I like that
Bessie.
scene.
So from
Right.
HBO.
And then the scene where Smoke visits. At first, I was kind of confused. I didn't think so. He had a child
Mm.
with a character. I forgot her name. What's her name?
I'm trying to find it real quick.
Right. So
But
he
yeah,
had
they had
the child that passed away prematurely. Um, and I was confused. I didn't think. I was like, so is this like a relative, or is this just a character that's just close to him? But then
yeah,
once the
Annie. No,
sexual,
that's
yeah.
that was the woman. Yeah.
Right. So once the sexual tension kicks in, it's kind of like, oh, okay, they were lovers.
Mm.
And you know, it was an intimate scene. The movie
Mm.
had sex in it, but it was kind of weird how the sex happened. No one got naked, but it was just like very quick
Well,
sex.
I did. Well, I think because the sex was kind of it was a element, not the main feature. I think.
Right. Which is
So
cool.
yeah, I don't think it was that. I don't think they wanted me to make the main draw like everybody's naked and full on
Right.
hmm
Yeah, so
No,
it was
no need to go True Blood.
right. I was just glad that they had moments like that without,
Mm.
you ain't gotta go overboard with it, but it's just good to see people have moments like this, the whole humanity part. You get to see all uh, the characters go through ranges of emotions from angry, sad, horny, etc.
Mhm.
Uh, but let's also talk about for you, what was some of your favorite elements as far as the horror part? Because I think one thing that's getting lost in some of the conversations is how great of a vampire movie this is, like a horror
Mm.
movie. Like I think people, yeah, it has deep layers. The racism, the symbolism of the twins, the religious elements, uh, the aspects of black music, spirituality. But I think, also it shows you how much he enjoys horror films and also vampire films because it has all the vampire lore, like
Mhm.
the invitation, the traditional steaks to the heart,
Not being cold to the
garlic.
touch though, that was different.
What'd you say?
Not being cold to the touch, that was different.
Yeah, that was a little different. The sun coming up, obviously.
Mm.
Um, you know, just all the vampire tropes you expect, and also the elements borrowed from other vampire movies. Like I felt like some elements of Dust Till Dawn,
That's what I
um,
was thinking about too. Yeah, yeah.
the Lost Boys. So yeah, it has layers in it, but I think it kind of, I think when you forget the part that it's a horror movie, also in a vampire movie, you kind of take away from the full scope of Ryan Coogler and how he this nigga really went to USC film school. Like don't forget, like he really went and researched and studied this shit. Like he knows his different genres and his different elements and the moments where you need this character to do this. Like a lot of people were talking about the Asian character uh yelling, basically inviting them in, and they try to
Mm.
say, this is why you can't trust POC people. And I was like, I
Eh,
mean, to me, that was kind of a stretch because
It
maybe maybe that was intentional, but you also a character had to do it, right?
yeah,
Because
you can't go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no. I'm just saying a character had to do it because eventually you have to move the plot. Like
Mm,
they
yeah.
have to cross at one point. You know, you have to have the vampires come in the house or them. You have to got to take it to the next level of the play. You have the climax. You know, as you can
Mm,
say. So I think something. What I really think is people. And I'm not saying everyone has to be a film critic or a film theorist or whatever, but sometimes I think people don't pay attention to the aspect of like this is a plot points of a movie to where you have to have these things, you have to have these characters that do these things. And sometimes they skip that to talk about the shit they want to talk about.
the subtext stuff,
And
yeah, or potential
yeah,
subtext, yeah.
right, right, right.
This how I love feel, but it reminds me of actually whenever I come across clips of Sex in the City on Instagram or YouTube, inevitably in this conversation, it's like somebody say, "Oh, Carrie making always making it about herself." I'm like, okay, y'all, she's the main character. Like she's the one that does the voiceover. If it's not about her, it can't be about anybody. But back to you. So yeah, people treat people like they're real people and not like characters that
Right,
need to move along with the plot. So yeah.
right. Like plot device. Yeah, like
Mhm.
because even in certain aspects, like when the lead vampire had his plot dumps where he would just talk about I'm really here for Sammy. You know, Sammy's why I'm here, and
Mm.
because so it kind of explains, well, oh, okay, this or the part where he did the plot dump about you really bought this building from Klansmen who are coming to kill you in soon. You know, that's why the
Yeah.
floor was sticky, and that's why he sold it to you so quickly.
Mm.
So,
But I would say those expositions using a really good it's presented in a way it feels very like organic. Like even with the Asian character with Lin Jun Lee, Grace, she plays Grace, a child. Even when she says she invites them in, it's like by that point she's pretty much knows her husband's in turn, and they've threatened to go and turn her child. And so it's like it's not like she's like plotting and saying like it's like that felt very naturalistic. Like
right,
she's got her wits in. Smoke is talking about, I'm not sure what to do yet. She's like, what you mean you're not sure what to do yet? Like, wait for them to turn the whole town. Like it didn't come out of left field. And the
no, it
same with him,
didn't.
and the same with him saying, they were planning to kill y'all, you know, minute y'all brought the juke joint. It's like, because yeah, because this is like 1932, this is like 11 years after Tulsa. So it makes sense. It's not just like
Oh yeah,
it's not just like here's my little plot. Like it's like no, they were planning to kill y'all because anytime y'all build something, it's presented in a way that's like seductive, like they hate y'all, come join us. It's almost like to bring out some real world evil when the Nazis dropped pamphlets to black soldiers over in Germany in World War II, like you're fighting for a country that hates you.
right. Or even during the Vietnam War, yeah, the same
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I thought the attention to make her the person who did it made sense because when they turned to husband, and then he spoke to her in her native tongue, and
Mm.
that was like, oh shit, And then he started talking about the family, so it just all made sense of why a character like that, who was already kind of high strung and very what I would say reactionary, would already
Mm.
be like that. So it's just I don't know, like until I hear Ryan Coogler say, "Yeah, I made the Asian lady do that because I wanted to show, you can't trust people outside of black people." I'm not really gonna buy that take. it's just a take.
Yeah.
Uh,
And also, even when including those two Asian characters in the story, it's good. That's historical too because there was a Asian population in Mississippi
Mississippi,
at
right,
that time. So you know,
right. So he did his research
mm,
all around. Uh, yeah, I really enjoyed the little touches here and there. I think it's just a really good movie overall because of the details and how he just put it all together, especially as far as the little character moments where I got you. I know is this gonna happen? Like it was some predictable parts, of course, like when Cornbread left, they're gonna use the bathroom. You like, oh shit, they're gonna turn.
that was one clip I did see, so I already knew he was gonna get turned.
Damn.
So, but not no because I think it was like. it might have been not the trailer, but it's like a clip someone was playing. Yeah, it's probably an interview somewhere I saw, but it wasn't enough to spoil it for me. Like I knew somebody gonna die,
Right.
I wasn't like oh it didn't spoil anything, but I knew he probably wasn't gonna make it through the
Yeah.
night.
But like the married woman who didn't like the taste of garlic, it was like, enough to make you be like, man, this motherfucker a vampire? I knew I didn't like her ass.
And you know
You
what it
know
reminded me of? You ever seen the
what?
faculty?
Yes.
The scene where they were like popping the bootleg cocaine to see who was an alien or not. That's what it
Right,
reminded me
right.
of.
So yeah, it has fine touches like that. And
Mm.
so how would you rate it on a horror movie scale?
Horror movie? Huh. I give it just seeing it the first time. I give it a strong 8. It's something I'd watch
Okay.
again.
What about on
Um,
the level of a vampire movie?
I don't know because I feel like the vampire part is almost like not incidental, but it's like it's not the main thing. Like I'm thinking of something like Interview with the Vampire. I would say a different movie, different tone, but Interview with the Vampire, like that's the main thing that revolves around these one person gets turned by a vampire, and then their two personalities, one's conflicted, one's embraces being a vampire, so on and so forth. So it's like that's the main thrust of the movie. This is like about so many different other things that the vampire part is like an element. It's almost like the vampire is like the inciting incident in a way, uh, to get to all this other stuff, or to build all this other stuff around, you know. So as a vampire movie, I guess seven, 8, better than not quite. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to get as far as vampire movies the ones that I've seen. Definitely better than the Underworld movies, even though I like those movies. Uh, it's got a little more depth than those, but I don't know if it has no. I mean, I give it 7.5. Just so we can get to you.
Yeah.
What'd you give it?
Um, I give it say like a 8, like a strong 8. It reminds me a lot of like the vampire movies with intentions. Like you said, it's not the main part of it. Like you know what the vampires are in it, but you really didn't see any of them outright until like the movie. But
Well, 'cause I almost forgot that what they were, it was about vampires too. Like because when that guy, when the main one was showing up to the door, it's about burned up. I was like, what happened to him? But then I remember, oh yeah, right,
oh yeah, because it's a real slow burn. Because at first when it
yeah,
started, I was like, man,
pun
this shit kind of
intended.
boring. Yeah, I was like, damn, we were gonna get to the action, like shit. But it did a good job of building up to that point. Because once it kicks in, it kicks in. Like it's no going back. Like it's straight,
Hmm.
bam, 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 bam.
Does till dawn. Like when I see when she says dinner is served, and they all start eating everybody alive. Yeah, it's like
Hmm.
it's like that. Yeah. Um, I will say I know the religion part didn't really touch you in any kind of way, or it didn't hit you in the same way. I would say I could being a former church musician myself, I could relate a bit to Sammy's character, who real quick the older version was played by Legendary Buddy Guy. Just to highlight him real quick. I can relate to him a bit. I would say a very different time period, but um, as far as that, I can relate to the inner conflict of like loving music and wanting to express yourself in a particular way, but having people that are authority figures that you respect, or people in the community, leaders or whatever in the community, saying that you can you can express yourself, but not in that way. Yeah, especially in this way, because this other way is something off about that or wrong about that. Um, so I did relate to that part. I did like the fact that he did decide to go his own way to keep to play the music that he wanted to play. And I think that's what that scene back in the club kind of highlights, is that the fact that yes, it's a rich history of Black music, but this is all our tradition in the sense that it doesn't have to be evil and wrong and debauchery and demonic if you don't want it to be. Like secular music can be uplifting and edifying and everything else the same way that gospel can be. or in the case of the vampires doing the Irish jig, it could be a sort of siren call for evil. If you want it to be, it's about your own creativity and what message you want to convey with your music. If I'm reading that into it, kind of for myself, after I did leave church and start playing, I kind of figured that was a wrap. Honestly, I figured that that's kind of over because I just spent so long being creative in a very specific box. And then once that box no exists, I really didn't know what to do with myself. And so I had to kind of rebuild myself as a creative from scratch. And so in a sense, I relate to that character and I relate to that sort of push-pull uh, with a religious background. So
Yeah, I grew up in a religious household.
you don't.
Uh, I wasn't a musician. Um, but yeah, I definitely get it. I think that's what, even though his role was smart, I mean, it was small. I think casting Saul Williams as the Reverend
Mm,
was cool because one, he just has this.
aura.
He looks, yeah, or he looks like a nigga from the 1930s, especially when you make his hair like that. It's
Yeah.
like, damn, that's Saul Williams.
Mhm.
And he just gave it an oomph. So
Mm,
I think the first scene being him going to church, and I just think it was really good the way he framed it.
mm,
The boy
mhm.
starts at church, and
Yeah.
then next thing you know, man, I bet y'all wondering how I got here.
Mhm.
Kind of took off, but since we're on the religious part, there's a take. Um, hold on, let me go. Let me see if I can find. There's a take by Lecrae that a friend shared with me.
Mhm.
So Lecrae tweeted about the movie. I'm not even on Twitter, but my friend who saw the movie with me sent me this. Lecrae says, I saw it. My 2 cents from a filmmaker standpoint is dope. Great visual storytelling, strong character development. Definitely inspiring for young black creatives. The time travel, cultural callbacks, and imagery are powerful, but I felt some anti-Christian propaganda. The film flips traditional vampire tropes. Usually it's crosses holy water and the church standing strong against evil. In this movie, Christianity is either irrelevant or oppressive, and power is found in African spiritual practices. Hoodoo, not the Holy Spirit, is the weapon of choice. The sinner's prayer scene low key mocks the faith, and the church is portrayed more as a place of shame than sanctuary. The voodoo priestess is the wise guide, and a character says something along the lines of, "Blues was created by us, not like gospel, which was forced on us." I was like, dang, maybe Ryan is working through some church hurt, Catholic school, forced religion, etc. The film feels like his way of wrestling with that, but it's a beautiful piece of work. Um, that's a lot, and I've never even really knew Lecrae tweeted. But I've heard people bring up religious aspects of the film or whatever. Somebody even said there was a person on TikTok who left the movie because they were
Mm,
praying through it or something. I was
mm,
like, okay, that's kind of odd, but whatever. Like,
mm.
it's a horror movie. Like, what? Like, I'm just like, what? Did you not read the? I don't know. Anyway,
You're saying passing like the
um,
Exorcist.
right.
Mhm.
But I don't think the movie was anti-Christian propaganda at all. I just think it had religious elements. Like the black church is just something that everyone experiences at some point, usually, if not directly, indirectly.
Mm.
Um, and it's taking place in the 30s. So shit, damn near everybody went to church. I just felt like it was a good place to start and a good place to have a character be conflicted because typically that's just a reality. There's confliction with reality, with Christianity or religion, period. Like even Jesus was conflicted.
Well, even this bringing into the music, I mean, that's the story of so many, especially in the first half of the 20th century, less so now, compared to then, but so many artists you think about like a Little Richard or a Sam Cooke or you going down the line of artists that started in church with secular and were told they were going to hell for making secular music. So the thing you see with Sammy is basically was played out with so many different artists. Probably the same with Aretha when she went to with secular as well. So I mean, that's that part of it. I think that's more. I think it's more commentary on that, more so the anti-Christian to me. I think what it was saying is that church, quote unquote, or spirituality is less about a building and more about what the beliefs are asking you to do. Are the beliefs bringing out your full self, or are they asking you to shrink or cut off parts of yourself in order to fit into this thing that's prescribing for you? How much of that is actually the religion and not just the people who, you know, gave it to you in terms of Christianity. Now, I disagree. I did. Now, I wouldn't say the gospel came from white folks. I think it was an authentic Black expression that came from us. Um, so I would disagree as anti-Christian bias. I think it takes a different look at Christianity than you would typically see in a vampire in a period piece. It's not The Color Purple. Because Color Purple is a famous scene
Right.
is that Sugar Avery comes in and she's singing, Tim's got soul Sue Daddy, and she comes back home essentially. But he doesn't, he leaves home essentially. It's the opposite. So
Mm-hmm.
in that sense, it takes a religion in a different way. But I don't think it's saying, you shouldn't be a Christian. I think it's saying is that every person has to find their own path. For Saul Williams' character, the preacher, that was his path. For Sammy, that not staying in church and playing the blues was his path, because I mean, before they don't go into his life after he leaves, but I think you could assume that he become some evil, sociopath that hurt everybody in his path for the next however many years after that night. He just went on and became a musician and lived to be an old man and everything else. He made his choice, you know.
Right. I don't think it's anti-Christian
Mm,
propaganda at all. It's a vampire movie. And honestly, or most vampire things have religious undertones, right? With the
mm.
crosses or the
Yeah,
uh
I guess what he's saying is that typically the crosses and the holy water are used to that's shown as like the good forces to fight against the evil. Whereas in this one, he said African spiritual practices are used to fight the evil instead of not Christianity. So, but I guess it's the issue for him.
yeah, it's just a what it is just Christian main character syndrome. Like them niggas think everything's supposed to revolve around them. And it's like, bro, like it's a vampire movie. I don't want to say it's not that deep, but I also feel like it's not that deep, bro. Like it was a unique take on it. Uh, and that's it. And it's like get out your feelings, a little bit about it. Like it's like what difference would it made if they had the holy water and the cross if it wasn't uh the African spirituality part? It almost feels like niggas scared of competition. Like it's like how brands, it's like damn, you scared of the niggas go stop going to church when most people really don't go to church like they used to, and they
Mm.
go start, which most of them do now, thanks to like a lot of social media and other aspects and music and things like that, start going towards African religions and things of that nature. It's just it ebbs and flows, man. It ebbs and flows, and I just think at the end of the day, all of it is somewhat connected in a way. And I think it's if black people choose to go that route or focus more on that, then it's cool. It's like Christianity had a great run. It's like it also it's not going anywhere still anyway. It's just I just get so tired of Christians wanting to be either woe is me or always feeling so under attack. It's exhausting. It's like damn, nigga, just you said the movie was good, let it be that. But then you gotta follow up with well, it was anti-Christian propaganda. It feels like he's an angry Christian. I was like, I don't think he's an angry Christian. I just think he's a nigga he's a filmmaker who wanted to talk about a lot of different things and with the vehicle of a horror movie or
Mm.
of a movie, and he just decided to use different things to add to this genre that really haven't been focused on. The closest thing you really got to a black vampire movie is what? Vampire in Brooklyn? Or
Mhm.
so it's a lot of different things, and I thought it was cool to see, in the movie. I thought they had a lot of cool elements to it. That's kind of cool that he had the woman who was practicing hoodoo be like the guide, who was keeping everything together, everybody alive, and
Mhm.
kept Smoke alive with the mojo bag and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's just, I mean, if you go back to even Chucky, the that was some African shit. It was like some hoodoo shit.
Yeah, I think it's voodoo. I think
Yeah,
yeah,
a black man taught him that shit.
and he
Like,
killed him too. Broken leg,
yeah, yeah. So it's not.
bastard.
So it's not even just outright. I'm not gonna say it's not original, but it's just certain elements still taken from other horror movies that have existed, but just really expounded upon. It really used in good faith,
Mm,
by a black filmmaker. So
mm,
I just think Lecrae is just really, like, his whole brand is Christianity, right? But
mm,
if he sees something that he feels is attacking it, that he has to get defensive, and then other Christians just naturally defensive people, honestly. And they're a little less aggressive than Muslims, but nevertheless still defensive.
mm.
Because they won't kill you for drawing their God, but they'll just
Mhm. I mean,
make a
well,
lot of.
the key for
but
I mean, Christian
but
extremism is a real thing. Like the key
yeah,
for doing an abortion.
yeah, but they'll complain like a motherfucker, God, especially on the internet. So, I mean, but that's a crazy opinion. Like I said, I have people tell me, I haven't seen these TikToks, but Holy Ghost TikTok is apparently not fan of sinners, and they had to pray during the movie or walk out or whatever the fuck. But if
Shit,
your faith,
somebody, I remember somebody died during the screening of Passion of the Christ back in the day. So deal with that. I
right,
remember hearing
and
that.
that movie.
I remember hearing that. I remember hearing people like, "Oh, I'm good. I read the book."
That movie was a lot. I didn't see that movie until high school, like my senior year.
Mm,
And I was like, man, this movie just a motherfucker getting his ass beat the whole movie. Like, I get the why he made it like that, because I've heard people have like come to Jesus meetings literally with the movie, like being saved after the movie, crying. So I get why he filmed it like that, but God, it was just so graphic and just
Yeah,
uh
yeah.
it's a
Well, I guess
lot.
from the point, I guess I'm just point like as far as like you want to go violence for violence sake, if you try and pray through anything, shoot, pray you don't die and they're like somebody else did. And also fuck Mel Gibson. So
Right, for sure, forever. I don't even watch Lethal Weapon no more. But yeah, man. So that's just my take on the whole Christians sounding off about sinners. Because why are you going to go see an R-rated horror movie anyway? Since you so uh religious anyway, and then also it's just you letting that rock your face like a movie. I don't know. I find all of it just they just got main character syndrome. Everything has to make them happy. Everything has to appease them, appease their face. uh it's exhausting sometimes with some of them. Not all of them. I don't want to say I'm Christian bashing, because I know a lot of people who go see stuff like that or saw the movie and they just enjoyed the movie for what it was. But those types like Lecrae and the people out here talk about on TikTok, like the Holy Ghost section, it's
Well,
just a lot.
and you probably have some Christians who are more on the liberal side, I guess. They'll be like, this is a great message for what it
Yeah,
says. Because
yeah,
you had the with the Exodus, you had some Catholics that said, this is the best representation of what we do in terms of exorcisms. So,
right. I'm sure most of that cast is Christian. Michael Ryan Coogler is probably Christian himself. I don't know his religious takes. I haven't really
mm.
heard him talk about it, but I'm sure he's a man of some type of faith. Uh, but yeah, I just thought that was a lot to take away from that movie. Like shit. Like damn, nigga. Uh, but also let's talk about how exciting it is to see an original.
Mm,
I think that's the biggest takeaway from this whole thing is an original movie doing well at the box office and getting rave reviews. I haven't heard one bad review. I haven't heard one
mm.
person say I didn't like Sinners. I mean, even the
Yeah.
Holy Ghost people aside. I haven't heard anybody say they just hated it.
Mm,
It's a like universally well received movie, and which is rare nowadays. And it's not a comic book movie. It's not a reboot. It's not something from the 80s or 90s.
right.
So that's refreshing. Do you think the success of this movie? Well, and this I also say there's been other movies this year that have been quote unquote original screenplays. So, but do you think this would be a boon in original films?
I hope so. I mean, because
Or studios taking more chances?
I hope so. I mean, because like I said, it is original. It's not a remake. It's not part of a franchise. And it's not just like a little bit of hit. It's like a big hit. And like I said, it's like it happened in a very organic way. It doesn't feel like like I said, I didn't even watch the trailer, and like I just as soon as it came out, like everybody was talking about it. Everybody was like, everybody knew about it. And especially nowadays, that's a really hard thing to do. It's like penetrate the culture, quote unquote, in that way. Uh, where everybody's, it would seem like everybody's like, did you see, or I heard about it, or like this, that, and the third. So I hope it does that. Also, I think it should, because especially it's like, what it was essentially like a horror movie. This is not like some super intellectual art house thing that you gotta, carry along a companion study guide to get to follow along with it and enjoy it. Like, even if you don't want to look at anything we were talking about, or look at any references, you can go to that movie and just enjoy it as a movie. It's like a popcorn flick. And so I would hope that it's a good sign. It signals to Hollywood, quote unquote, that people want original stories and will watch original stories if they're done really well.
Mhm.
You know.
I think so. I think because if you look at the Marvel machine, it's taken a bit of a step back.
Mhm.
I think they're releasing only three movies this year: Captain America, Thunderbolts, and the Fantastic Four. And even then, even those three have been a lot at the same time compared to like the last several years. Because I think it was a bit of fatigue, and also just how many more of them shits you gonna crank out that people are going to either not go see or complain about.
Yeah.
Um, and then also, the sequels, because I think we might be done with the John Wick franchise, and it's a few other movies that had series that I think are done.
I
Uh,
saw a preview for a few sequels. Megan's getting a sequel, the
who's
doll
gonna see?
movie.
Oh, Meg. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a
Oops, I,
success that I didn't see coming, but yeah.
Oops, I did it again in the soundtrack, which is, a masterful stroke, I think. Uh,
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah. They're making
also,
another Jurassic Park too.
yeah, that's something they could leave alone for a while, I think,
Forever.
because they're all the same. I mean, it's always
They are
like,
the same.
look down, oh, a brontosaurus. Then the power of some shit happened, then then everybody get eaten alive. It's a see, dinosaurs.
Oh, since we're talking about previews, what did you think about the preview for the Jordan Peele produced movie Him?
I actually have not seen anything any previews for that one. I didn't
Oh,
see
okay,
one.
okay. That
Yeah.
came on during my showing. Basically like
What's
a
the name of the movie?
football hymn.
Oh, I think of a different hymn when you said that.
Oh, like the Powerpuff Girl villain.
Uh-huh. The smart girls. Yeah, that's that voice. Move on. That'd be a good movie, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean you could flesh it out.
But it's
But
like, you said it's
yeah,
like a sports movie, you said?
it's like a horror movie take. Uh, it's a horror movie take on, I guess, like the business of football from like college, from going to college to the pros. It's all think
Okay.
about like any given Sunday mixed with just a very dark turn. Like it's almost like the dude gets CTE and loses his mind, and then just everything turns into like blood and shit like that. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my take from the early screening, from what I saw from the trailer.
Mhm.
Marlon Wayans is in it, and I don't know
Oh,
who the main actor is yet. So
okay.
yeah, so when Jordan Peele puts his name on stuff, people kind of gravitate to it or get curious. Even though I haven't liked any of his movies since Get Out, but that's just me.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's where we are. So Sinners, universally liked all across the board. Seems like it's going to make a lot of money. It's definitely going to be
I,
a good return on investment.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it runs until like early June, honestly.
Right. I hope Ryan Coogler doesn't get pressured to do a prequel or a sequel. I don't want to see none of that shit. Like, please don't stoop that low. 'Cause I really think there has to be a return to uh pride and just really just doing good films and leaving them be. Like stop getting sucked into this commercial vortex. And I know that's saying a lot because it's Hollywood. It's all built on uh capitalism and just making the most money you can. But there was a time where you made a movie, it was good, it got a great response, and you left it alone and you moved on to your next project. I
Well,
don't
I
want to
think,
see a Sinners 2 or a
well, I think,
prequel.
yeah, unless it's like, well, it could be done like in that Kill Bill style, where it's like one came out, then another one came out. It was like all one long 4 hour thing that you could watch. But I don't think this is that. But
Mm-mm.
yeah, I think what you're talking about is like there used to be a thing where you'd have the big, huge popcorn flicks that made $200 million or whatever, and then you'd have like the weird art house stuff that like only 10 people saw, but like was critically acclaimed. In between that, you have all these movies that were like one-offs, like a Waiting to Exhale, that probably made 50 or $75 million, and the people that saw it, and then that was that. And that kind of went away for a
Right.
while.
Right. Or even like the Spike Lee joints. Like Spike Lee don't have a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Spike Lee don't have sequels, really. I can't. I'm trying to think of one, but I can't. None of them comes to mind.
Hmm.
Even Tarantino, he doesn't really do sequels because Kill Bill was really one fucking movie, and I
Yeah,
think
it's
they
like
only,
it came out back to it
yeah,
came out this yeah.
yeah, they only split it up probably because of time, and he didn't want to probably cut no shit, so it was just they probably settled on making two of them. But ain't no no Pulp Fiction sequel, ain't no Jackie Brown sequel. It's just the shit don't translate into that. It's not meant to be something that's just done over and over again. It's been here's a movie about this day, and the day happened, and the day ended, and then the story ended, and that's Finn. That's it. And
Mhm.
I think somewhere along the lines, probably like the '90s. Well, no, I won't even just say the '90s. Maybe like the '80s is when just the sequel. Everything had to have a sequel. Uh, like especially like the horror movies, because we got so
Nightmare on
many
Elm
Friday
Street.
13th. Yeah, Halloween. How did they still making new Halloweens? But yeah, I just hope we kind of can return to making just good quality original films that just exist in that vacuum, and you just go on to your next project, go on to the next idea.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't even think Ryan Coogler a fan of sequels though, because I see like of course he had to do Black Panther 2 because you side
And
with
three is going
Marvel.
to Denzel.
Oh, they're doing a three.
Going to Denzel, y'all.
Oh, okay. Is Denzel directing it or Coogler?
I think Cooler is in it, but I think Cooler is directing, but I think Denzel is in it, I believe.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
Yeah.
and then that's Marvel, so that's a whole different beast.
Hmm.
You have to play that game. But he can't. He's not going to make. I don't even think yeah, I don't think he directed Creed 2. I think he just did the first one, and then he left and let them do that because I know Michael B. Jordan directed the third one.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think he's got a great career so far. I'm excited to see what else he does. I think he's a good storyteller. Uh, I'm interested to see what else he does next. Hopefully he continues to get the studios back in to do the type of movies he wants. And yeah, I think the brother's dope. I think he's cool. I hope he doesn't get caught up saying the wrong thing because I heard him. talk about the movie a little bit. He said, you look at those two guys. These are foundational black, foundational black Africans. So
For
that's kind of like that adults talk. Those
okay.
those what was it, American descendants of
Descendants of
slavery
slaves,
type.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm like, but hey, that's his take or that's his vision. That's he's entitled to it. But you know, hope he continues to say the right things because I mean, you see what happens, because like somebody was like, if Jonathan Majors was the main character, it would have been a better movie, and I'm like, yeah.
I don't know. I can't. I don't know if he. I don't know if he how he would play Stack. Because to me, I would. I feel like this is up. Just off my initial watch, this is some of his strongest acting, Michael B. Jordan, actually. Because I mean, they really did seem like two separate people. You know, and they had the whole twin connection, which I think going back to what I was saying, I was going to say this before we start recording. There was a moment when they were fighting Smoke and Stack, where Stack could have bitten uh, Smoke, but he didn't. Just like Smoke could have killed Stack, but he didn't. Uh, which is different, like it's different from usual vampire lore of like, once somebody's turned, they're totally gone. Uh, so there was still something in him still Stack that didn't want to, you know, kill his brother. Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I don't know if John, I think he would have brought a different tone to it. No, again, another out of left field reference, but for Mean Girls, the first person that was going to play Regina George, or she auditioned with Regina George, was the actress that played. She ended up playing Karen, the sort of ditzy girl, and
Uh-huh.
they say she brought like a different tone to Regina that was much more like instead of being like uh the anger underneath the surface, it was much more like a quiet, so like simmering rage. So it's like people play different characters, they're gonna bring something different to them. I don't know if I think I could see Jonathan doing Smoke. I can't see him playing Stack because he doesn't seem very whimsical, for lack of a better word.
What about damn,
I would
I'm
say if
losing
this
his
was
name.
if
What
this
about
came out in 90,
Denzel's son?
well, I was actually gonna say if this came out in 95, that would have been Denzel. Denzel would have been
No,
smoking Stack.
well, I'm talking about what Denzel's John David Washington. Do you think he could have?
Maybe. I haven't watched him in much. I saw him in Ballers and I saw him in a couple of things, but I haven't seen him in enough to know, you know, his range or whatever. Uh, mm,
Hmm. So yeah, man, I think this might be the movie that really sets the tone of the 20s as far as cinema. Uh, what's been your favorite movie to come out in the 20s so far?
uh, I don't know. I've been more of a TV guy, I think, for the most part, than a movie person, or series guy, not necessarily TV, but at least well, name some. Let me see. Let's see if I can. If we what have we had that's been the big hits. Uh,
Man, the first movie I was gonna say was a Netflix movie. I was gonna say what Bird Box. That was
oh,
it.
okay. I didn't watch that one. So, uh,
Uh,
mm, I can't think of any theatrical pieces that really stand out to me. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any really. Uh,
mm, yeah, yeah, man.
but
It's
man,
no,
man,
what you say?
I saw Black Panther 2. That's as
I
far
mean,
as
it
in the
was
sequels,
okay.
it was okay. I saw that one.
Yeah, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it neither.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of any right now. So
Yeah, I saw a few movies a few last few years. It's just been so much stuff. Everything feels like this. I'm not gonna say the same, but it just all feels like a blur. Uh, Especially when you think about like the COVID like the pandemic initially, just everything just kind of got sucked into like this vortex.
Hmm.
It's like two timelines post. Now,
Hmm.
well, I don't really like saying post pandemic because COVID still a
Yeah,
thing or whatever, but
yeah.
it's like pre-pandemic, pandemic.
Hmm. And then it's sort of past the shutdown before I put it that way.
Hmm.
Past the shutdown phase. Um, yeah. Mm, like yeah. As far as movies, I think this is I definitely remember. I guess this one stands out for this the sheer interest in it, organic interest. It seems like it don't seem like they have to do that much like where they push it, and it's
Oh,
kind of just
no, no, yeah, it definitely
so.
didn't have the biggest like just. Well, I don't watch as much TV, so I don't know how that's going as far as like people pushing it, like it's commercials and shit like that. But like just from people going to go see it and talking about it, like word of mouth, it's doing like really good in that aspect. I think that's one of the
Mhm.
reasons why a lot of people go to go see it because it's like the people telling them to go see it, 10 out of 10. I do hate the way people talk about movies now. They be like, "Hurry up and go see it. I want to spoil it. Or I want to talk about it." I'm like, "Nigga, you ain't got no friends. Like friends you can call and talk to about the movie. You gotta bully people into going to go see it on the internet so you can talk about it. This is I think I saw one nigga say, uh, if you don't see it by this weekend, that's your fault. I'm for the spoil it. It's like damn, nigga, like
Well, I would say the rule. I guess the rules of engagement have changed. Like if this came out in '95 or even '05, you know, people you would talk about it will primarily be your in-person friends because that's how people talk about movies with each other. I mean, you probably watch like Siskel and Ebert, or you watch like Entertainment Tonight or whatever, or maybe somebody interviewed somebody on BT or whatever, no radio stations, whatever. But you may call in and say how you feel about the movie. But for the most part, you have everybody wasn't online because online barely existed. So if you saw the movie and you want to talk to somebody about it, you have to talk to somebody in person about it, and you had to worry about somebody like leaving like a status about it, and then you potentially scrolling down on it and then read it. I think it's where that came from. People were saying like, oh, don't leave a status talk about the movie after you just saw it if it just came out because you can spoil for other people. I think just like the rules of the rules of engagement, quote unquote, have changed with social media a bit as far as like people talking about it after they see it. Because like people instead of sharing it in your circle, now you're sharing it with your online circle, you know, which is a different thing.
right. Which kind of goes back to that point I was talking about. Like this is like the definitive monoculture because everything is so interconnected. Like we all share like the same spaces almost. Like you get a different your algorithm may be different from mine, but with the way we consume stuff, especially if it's something that goes quote unquote viral, it's like at some point it's gonna trickle down to your side of it too, and you're gonna see it. So it's like back then, if you saw something like water cooler moments, like you could say, "Hey, did you go see that movie?" And the person could be like, "No," but now it'd be like, "Hey, did you see this reel, this skit, this TikTok?" And that person's gonna know exactly what you're talking about, or they gonna say no, and you just reach in your phone and you pull it out, you show them.
What
Versus
easier access,
right,
easier
so
access.
it's like the shared, like even if you like, say for instance in the '90s, if you Friends was the number one show, right? But if you walk to some random black person probably and you say, "Hey, did you see Friends?" They say, "Fuck no, I don't watch this shit." And but now if you got people who don't even share spaces with you, like a white person, but they'll be like, "Oh my Shayla," or they'll be like, what the hell what the hell he on?" And it's like, how the hell you know that? Because like now everybody consumes the same shit because it's all viral. It's all like viral shit or the TikTok or IG or even
Uh,
Facebook now. And it's
I got
just
to get.
like and like I said, it's like versus back then, if a person wasn't exposed to it, they didn't see it. They like, I don't know what you're talking about. But now you could just be like, here, look at this. Like people just
I got to get.
bombard
Yeah.
you with shit that you weren't even exposed to because it's the access. It's like they have it in
Mhm.
their phone or they can send it to you, or even just now with the algorithm being so strong and so invasive, you could just have a conversation and then you'll get on your app or whatever, and then next thing you know, you seeing that same thing that it was talked about or
Mm.
was hawked at you, because it's just the world has just gotten smaller because of technology and the
Yeah.
way we use said technology. Uh,
I I can agree to an extent, but I think we have increased access to culture, but I still think the monoculture is very fractured compared to 30 years ago or 20 years ago.
I
Because
mean, but
30
is it
years
really though? Because like we
because
all consume the same stuff. Everybody watching the
it's
same thing.
it's easy to ignore it as well. You could, I mean,
Is it?
yeah,
Is
because
it?
yeah, what I mean by that is like 30 years ago, yeah, you walk up to somebody and say, "Do you watch Friends?" They'd be like, "Fuck no," but if they did the little, you probably would know it because it's like how many channels we got: ABC, NBC, and CBS, and maybe if you don't have cable, if that. And so, but now it's like everybody's talking about this show. We talking about the latest show, on Apple TV or on Amazon, and you maybe see an ad here or there on your timeline, maybe, but you could totally ignore it. You could totally ignore the phenomenon of the show and not watch it all. I haven't watched Severance at all. I
But
haven't
you
watched
know
White
about it.
Lotus.
So it's the
But
same. It's the same.
I'm
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
I'm aware of it, but I'm aware of it, but it's
It's the
like,
same thing, Kevin. That's literally
is
the
it?
same thing. You can be aware of Friends but not watch it. The same way you just said
Maybe,
separate. But
maybe.
like I said,
I guess
the only
it's easier to escape
the internet
pop
is more
mainstream
the
culture.
internet the internet is more accessible than cable. Cable
Yeah.
was way more divisive because it was a money thing. Like if you didn't have the money to afford cable, or you bootleg it, or you go over somebody's house, you locked out. But you could walk to a library, a McDonald's. It's more places where you could get free Wi-Fi than you could free cable, and everybody gets a smartphone. You get a
Mm.
government phone for free. You get a smartphone for free if you just sign your name, social security number. So it's just the access is different. Like the internet is, you can't escape the internet, and social media is free, quote unquote. I mean, they take your data, but nobody reads the fine print, so you sign up for it.
Mm.
So you got to think about it. It's more people. It'll forever be more people on social media, on YouTube, Facebook, than anybody who ever subscribed to cable or probably watch TV at this point. Um, because it's just how just this shit is just it's just one big blob of content and culture all in one. It's to the point now to where when people get mad at white people for like knowing certain things, I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like they on this, they consuming the same shit as you. They used to be back then, white people really didn't know certain things about like black culture really, because we was on our side, they was on their side. But now you got white people who walk up to you and they talking more hip, quote unquote, or relative to you, because they they watch Power, they watch all that shit now. It's like there's no real divisiveness like it used to be. Like people like white people that watch Soul Train like that, or whatever, just certain things like that. But now it's like it's just, here's how you. I don't know. It's just very weird to see how I hate saying tapped in, but how just all this shit just bleeds over into aspects of life that I was like, damn, this shit really is different now. Like it's weird. It's so weird to the point that now we had come up with terms like digital blackface.
Yeah.
But these are the times we live in, people. So I don't know. But overall, this episode of Sinners. Uh, so if you haven't seen it, go see it. So you don't get spoiled.
Yeah.
So that's everything for this episode. I'm Uptown Bobby,
I'm K.Clark. Do we want to talk
and
about anything else, or do we want to talk about about
uh, what else do we
about a
got?
certain? Do you want to talk about the big black babies?
Who?
You don't know?
I missed that one. You gotta say.
uh, Shannon Sharpe.
Oh, Shannon. See, I didn't listen to the actual audio, but I'm aware. Oh, so here's the thing about Shannon Sharpe, and I'll try to make it quick. Shannon Sharpe is a mother. This is what happens when you're older and you try to be hip and young and shit. Also, sometimes getting married might be a good thing because a nigga his age should be sitting at the house, um, I don't know, doing older nigga shit. But because he's been become like the universal unk figure, he gotta always be into shit he don't need to be in. And he's like, well, I guess a lot of rich men fuck younger women, but he keeps fucking these younger women who really probably just using him for his money and access. And yeah, I don't feel sorry for him. I think he
Yeah, well,
needs to really go reevaluate some shit, sit down with his team, and keep his dick in his pants.
yeah, for me, it's just, I mean, the age gap does leave a pause, a bit of a pause, so because she was like 19, and he was in his mid
Wait,
50s, but
she was 19?
uh
Oh my God.
yeah, it's like, yeah, one thing if she was like, 30, whatever, I don't know. But it's like a huge age gap. It was like, between 19 and like he's like, what, he's like 54, 55. So yeah, so it's
Yeah.
that, and then she's alleging that it was consensual, but then it turned abusive at a certain point. Um, and then I was referring to Big Black Baby because they were one of the games they would play was race play basically, and she was saying, "Which you want me to put the you want to put a big black baby in me?" It's one of the lines that she would say to him. And then other things, involving choking and it basically a BDSM sort of situation. But she said at some point it crossed the line from that to actual abuse, which that obviously that's a very complicated, watery, uh, not watery, very complicated, porous line as far as like when is it, consensual, when it's not consensual, in terms of like, uh,
Like abusive language.
yes,
Yeah.
because,
Because I
so
did hear something. It's see, and it sounded like you said, it's a very tricky thing to try to play, take moral grounds on because he said something about, he told her not to say some word I heard. He said, if I was in front of you, I'll choke you or some shit right now. And it's
yeah.
like, was that being like funny or like,
Or
I mean, it's never funny.
was that was that part of their Dom sub thing, or was that an actual threat? Because
Right.
that was a clip of the video. I think it was a clip of the audio. It wasn't necessarily the whole audio, which is like, that's where it can get really tricky as far as like, was that consensual, or was that an actual threat? And did she consent
Right.
that time, but did she not consent another time? So it's where it gets very muddy and very complicated. Uh, but yeah, this, and I think, the way he's going about it, he's trying to position it as this attorney, because she's the attorney that's representing her is the same attorney that represented the woman with Jay-Z against Jay-Z in that potential in that whole thing, Busby, Michael Busby. So Shannon's trying to position it as, this man talking successful black man taking me down. It's like, nigga, don't do that.
Kind of
Don't do
like the
that.
Cosby Show.
Don't turn your private fuck up into our collective liberation cause. Like that, this ain't it. This ain't that. You know.
Trying to take a black man down.
Right. So he's trying to discriminate. He's trying to shame her for being a sex worker, and you know, saying it's like, the usual shit as far as like it being a money grabber and this and everything else. So that's as far as me as we're discussing, along with like that it's just, that age gap that's a lot. It's not illegal, but it's also like,
Yeah, it's not illegal, but it's very
it's like
odd.
it's
Like
just like,
it's almost like a professor. It's like a college professor fucking a student. It's like,
it's like that power manipulation sort of thing. It's like, which I think is, I mean, maybe one and one. He wanted to be the big black buck that dominated this little white girl, white,
oh, she's white.
yeah.
Oh wow.
Um, so yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah, man.
You
That's
know.
why in situations like this, I don't. That's why I think marriage might be good because it'll make you.
Or
Well, I'm not saying that married men don't
well,
cheat,
yeah,
but
or just
take your ass
find,
home.
or just find, experienced dom or sub. I'm not sure who he is in the
Oh
relationship. He's
yeah,
dominant.
sex worker.
Yeah, it's fine. Experience dom. That's because he's into like a little BDSM, whatever. Find someone who is a little bit more experienced, who's older, who is fully into that. Is fully and wants to do it and have it. But yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I think he just likes that dynamic. I think he's just an older man who likes to feel like he's young. You see the way he dresses. He got like a stylist that try to, gets him in the latest threads and the latest styles, and just the way he's like he's become this unk figure, and I think he's embraced it, but also he's just a nigga with too much access, like just too much. He wants to be on the scene. And yeah, I don't feel bad for him, man. It's like take your ass home, take care of your kids. You a grandfather, like nigga, just act your age. Like if you're gonna date a young woman, at least I don't know, at least be smart about it, I guess, or
well,
find you an older, younger woman.
yeah, like because they've been trying to some people are trying to compare what he's done to like what Tracy
Leonardo
Ross
DiCaprio.
described. No, Tracy Ross because she was talking about she dates younger men. She doesn't date men in her generation because she finds that they're really toxic and
She ain't fucking on
just
19-year-olds.
no, I think she was referring to men like she said. I didn't watch the clip about that, but basically men probably well, she's like early 50s, so probably men like in their
30.
30s, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, do that. Don't and be very clear about your dom sub. Be
Your
very clear
kinks.
about your kink. You be clear about your kink and what's consensual and what's not, and also the fact that I was listening to Higher Learning and it said that he actually signed an NDA like 3 times. She said no, so that should have been. I mean, that's not to imply that she was out to like get him, quote unquote, but just the fact that you want this to be private, and she was saying no, yet you still continue. Like, I mean, like
Mm.
that's
Yeah, it's yeah, man, just gotta be more careful, man. And you having these conversations, you getting recorded. It's like she knows what she's doing. Like they know how to exploit you, and you're letting them do it. You playing into the shit. And I don't know when the recording started, but clearly she felt like maybe I could take advantage of this, or maybe she wanted to document the
well,
violence.
yes,
Who
yeah, that's I
knows?
mean, yeah, it could be that as well. It could be like, this is going in a way that I no longer feel safe with, so I'm gonna start to record your ass just to be just in
Mhm.
case. And so there's that too.
Right. So it's tricky, man. But like, stay your ass in the house. Stay your old ass in the house. Keep your dick in your pants, and stop thinking you still in your 30s. But you also know what else it is? He's been doing this like his whole adult life.
Mm.
Because I'm not sure how good he was in high school, but he probably was the man in high school, probably started having sex early, went to college at Savannah State, probably was having a lot of sex, went to the NFL. That's probably when you get the money, you get the access, definitely probably when it hit like full tilt. And then you've been a celebrity pretty much your whole life. You've been a celebrity longer than you haven't been a celebrity. So you just don't know how to act, And there's niggas with less that don't know how to act. But you give a nigga some money and some TV time, oh shit, it's a problem. It's a problem. So keep your dick in your pants and stop hanging around these young folks. Start going to bingo.
Bingo.
I know there's ages, but it's like with age, there should come a certain sense
Well, just
of maturity. You would
if you're
think.
gonna do what you do, then move in a way that move with some sense. Because because kink knows no age. I don't say you gotta if you into it, you're into it. It doesn't matter what age you are. But if you're gonna do it, then just you know have some self-awareness about it and have some be a bit more. Because what I've heard described is from it's just like it didn't seem to be a clear line as far as like what was consensual, what wasn't, how how in terms of like these are the things that I want to do. Are you into that? These are things. This is like the safe word. This is how I'll what happened after this. No, there was no one like care, quote unquote, involved. It was just more so I'm gonna do it like this, and you're gonna do it like that because I said so. But without the pretext of this is the nature of the of our relationship, so to speak. So if you're gonna do it, have all that in mind because you get into some very murky areas when you start, when you start doing, that sort of that particular flavor of kink, obviously, because you start playing with, you're doing some form of violence,
You playing with
but
fire, but also I just feel like when, I'm not saying this necessarily because she's younger, but when you're that
with anybody
age,
really.
yeah, it could be anybody. But when you're that age, you could be. Oh, when you're any type of celebrity messing with someone that's not a non-celebrity, you could be set up for exploitation.
Mm,
And with him being who he is, and this is not the first time this happened. Well,
mm.
he claims it was a mistake when the sex was recorded live, but he
Oh,
lying.
okay. Yeah.
I think
That
that was a
that that
stunt.
that actually, according to the person that's present, just coming forward, the woman's coming forward. For her, that was the point that she actually was uh being cheated on with the quote unquote by Michelle. That you know,
So, so that was a different woman.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? This nigga is he's just reckless. He's just a reckless man who needs to do what he did. He stepped down from ESPN. He need to go the fuck home. He need to go the fuck home and figure out how do you want to spend the rest of your life. You 54, 55 years old. You closer to the end than the beginning. Do you want to be remembered as some horny old nigga that think he young, or do you want to be remembered as a great football player who was a TV personality and off the camera and social media? It's just a cool guy. It's like figure out how you want to be remembered and stop fucking all these young girls and I don't know, get better NDAs. Maybe you should go get some sex workers, but just figure out how you want to be
Well, she is a
remembered.
sex worker. She's a sex worker. She's got the OnlyFans, but yeah.
Well, you know what I mean when I say sex worker. Like I'm talking about somebody who is like really offline,
Oh,
you know.
okay,
Yeah. So, just
yeah.
get you somebody who, yeah, because you clearly he has a high sex drive, I'm assuming.
Well, he's into certain things. My thing is, you're into certain things, and then do the work, quote unquote, to make sure that the people that you get involved with know what's going on, are into it, and that they continue to be into it, and that everything is on the up and up as far as like as far as everyone feeling like they're consenting and not being abused or taken advantage of. That's the best way I can say it.
Stop embarrassing your family. Like, also, you got children, grandchildren, and you out here doing this silly ass shit. Like the shit on IG, I thought was gross. Like he
That
claimed
was
it was
that was seldom
an
peen
accident.
pills.
Yeah, like look at you. You're like pimping yourself at this point. It's like stop it. Have some respect. Have some decorum. Because I feel like a lot of people go after women who do stuff like that, or like uh, what Kiki Palmer had went through. Like you're a mom. It's like man, you're a granddad. Like have some goddamn decorum. But
Yeah, discretion.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's some discretion. Like
discretion.
you're embarrassing people who unfortunately have to, go into reality with your last name or people knowing they kin to you. And look at the shit you're doing. You're just a horny old man who having an identity crisis. It's like you're having a midlife crisis in real time. And
Yeah.
get this shit checked out. I'm sure the next time you see him, he'll probably be baptized and he'll probably start preaching or some shit or Muslim. Uh, so yeah, figure that shit out, Shannon Sharpe.
Mm.
But yeah, man, That's the side eye. I think this was a good episode. I think we'll probably do more movie reviews with the summer movie season coming out. Even though summer now is summer movies aren't what they used to be. Uh, but we'll keep our eyes open on some of the releases coming out this summer and go do more reviews. I don't think we'll have a movie as big as Sinners this year. But who knows? You never know. So once again, let's talk about your girl. One last thing. Beyonce finna go on tour and she dropped the trailer for the tour.
Yeah, it's basically just a clip of the stage, like a sort of a long shot. It's not up close. It's like far back, but you can see that's the whole venue and then a clip a bit of the stage. Yeah, I think the tour kicks off Tuesday, I believe. So mhm.
Have you ruled out going completely, or is it a
Pretty
possibility,
much.
or you just
I would have to get either get some free tickets or something. I don't know because that's still I
not
have
the
to go back and
budget?
double. Yeah, I would have to go back and double check the prices. They had to come way down for me to see if I really have a real chance of going. So,
Yeah, because our only real shot is the Houston show,
hmm.
because that's as close as she's coming towards like southwest of the country or south, yeah, this area. Because it's only really two southern shows. It's the Atlanta one and Houston.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, I would like to see her one more time. I feel like I've got my full of Beyonce in person. I know that's
Hmm.
blasphemy to some people, but uh, I mean, I gotta live the next day. Shit, that's why I told my girlfriend about Kendrick. Shit, I love Kendrick. I would love to go see her, but nigga, shit, I gotta live the next day. Them tickets was high as hell. I have a friend. He sat in the 100 section. He wasn't even on the floor.
Kendrick.
His yes, and his
Hmm.
tickets for him and his wife were 500 a piece.
Shit. Bing bop boom bop boom bop bam. Shit. Guess I can understand.
Exactly. All right. So it's like, man, that's another thing, man. These artists, I get it. Y'all got to get y'all money. And it's not even really them. It's more so the ticket companies. But man, we got to reach a middle ground with this shit. Because who got that money? I mean, people find the money. Like, I'm sure there's people who found the money for this Beyonce shit. But you,
I'm
you,
Klarna.
you you're
No,
Xing
that's not
out
shame.
of
I've used it. I'm just saying.
but you
Found on
Xing out
Klarna
a market.
on Afterpay on Zip.
Oh, but you just Xing out a market of people who would love to go, but damn, it's like
Hmm.
shit, you know. Damn, can I live? Can I live? Oh man, I get that's why people probably going to go see Chris Brown because shit, maybe they could afford it. I don't know,
uh,
but
yeah, I think what the monopoly exists with Ticketmaster and Live Nation.
hmm
It's just all the consolidation at this point. It's like you compare a ticket like back in the day. People thought it was high to go see an artist with tickets for like $30 or something like that back in the day, 80s, 90s. You know, now it's like shoot, everybody would pay for that.
it's the times we live in, baby. But whew, what a time to be alive. But thank y'all for listening. For our listeners, give us your time and your ears. We appreciate it. And we'll have more content coming. This is our Center's review slash other ponderings. Yeah. So thank you for your time. And we'll see y'all on the flip side. This is the side I am Uptown Bobby.
Yeah, K.Clark.
And we are signing off. Good night.